mynews.studio.
Picture this. Under Canadian skies, solar panels are now being installed above fields of crops. It's a two-in-one approach. Could this be the next step for food security?
For context, today's date is 2026-0303. Let's break it down. A recent Canadian study suggests that combining solar panels with farmland, a practice called agrivoltaics, could increase global crop yields by hundreds of billions of pounds. This isn't just about Canada. The researchers found that this method protects crops from extreme weather, reduces water loss, and even promotes plant growth. But does this finally settle the debate? Are solar farms and agriculture in competition for land? Or can they actually work side by side?
That's the heart of it. People have long assumed that solar energy and agriculture are in conflict. But with agrivoltaics, you can do both. The panels provide electricity and at the same time create microclimates that help certain crops, especially when the weather gets tough. But there's a catch. Can a single design really work everywhere?
Not really. The research shows agrivoltaics have to be adjusted for local conditions. For example, in humid places like the eastern Midwest, standard panel heights sometimes reduce yields of crops like maize and soybeans. The main problem is too much shade. It can block photosynthesis. So, taller panels or wider spacing are often needed to let in enough light.
Right. But move to semi-arid or arid regions and the story flips. There, a bit of shade can actually help. It eases water stress on crops. Soybean yields, for example, sometimes go up under partial shade. Some farmers are even rotating which crops grow under the panels, depending on how much shade they tolerate. And in the driest zones, the strategy often involves planting shade-tolerant crops directly under the panels, while sun-loving varieties fill the gaps. It really comes down to adapting to the local environment.
But let's talk cost. Raising the panels isn't cheap. The study points out that these systems are typically more expensive than standard solar farms. That's a real hurdle for many farmers. So why are some moving ahead anyway? Mostly because of policy. Things like subsidies and tax credits.
Exactly. The U.S. Department of Agriculture is backing pilot projects and new business models. Several states have their own programs too. It's not limited to the U.S. Italy, South Korea, and India have national or regional incentives for agrivoltaics. Where policies encourage it, adoption grows. Where they don't, progress slows.
What about technology? Is anything on the horizon to bring costs down? The study highlights a few options. One is passive cooling. As crops release water, it cools the solar panels and actually increases their power output. There's also advanced tracking systems and planning software. These tools help with monitoring and resilience, so operators can adjust to changes more quickly.
And sensor networks are key. They provide real-time data on sunlight, soil moisture, and temperature. That way both crop yields and solar output can be optimized. Add robotics and adaptable shading systems, and you get more efficient water use. With all these systems in place, it's possible for both farmers and solar operators to benefit. No need to pick one over the other anymore.
If we zoom out, the global stakes are clear. Climate change is upending how we think about both energy and food. Land is limited. The question is, can we grow more food and expand renewable energy at the same time? Agrivoltaics could be a scalable option, especially for countries with limited land or those facing more severe weather.
Exactly. This isn't just about putting solar panels on farmland. It's about rethinking land use, integrating energy and agriculture for mutual benefit. With the right mix of policy and technology, solar farms could help feed the world, not just power it.
So, are we looking at the future of farming or just a promising trial? Either way, the old boundary between agriculture and energy is starting to fade.
That wraps up our look at solar-powered crops and the potential of agrivoltaics. Thanks for joining us as we explored how innovation and policy are shaping food security worldwide.
Thank you for listening. This episode was brought to you by mynews.studio. Try it now for free.